Elara Warren was the only child of Hollowbrook's most reclusive dollmaker. From the moment she could walk, she preferred the company of dolls to the other children in town. While others ran through the streets playing games and laughing, Elara spent her days arranging dolls in intricate scenes along window sills in the attic of her home. Each doll had a name, a personality, a story. Some even whispered if you listened closely enough. Her father was a man whose hands were always stained with paint and glue, but he encouraged her creativity, even though he rarely left the workshop. Together they built the dolls that were more than just the toys. They were companions. There were dolls dressed in elaborate gowns, tiny soldiers poised for imaginary battles, miniature animals, all meticulously painted. But there was one doll that always fascinated the townsfolk. A small porcelain girl with deep gray eyes and a knowing smile. It was said that even when Elara left the room, the doll's eyes just seemed to follow her. One autumn evening, a fire consumed the Warren workshop. The townfolk arrived to find the building in ruins. Charred wood and melted wax scattered across the ground. But there was no trace of Elara, and strangely there were no trace of her dolls, except for the one porcelain girl. From that night on, the children whispered of a small pale figure wandering the foggy streets, whispering to invisible friends. The air around her always seemed to carry a faint scent of old wax and lilac. People have claimed to see her. They say that her hair moves as though it was brushed by an unseen hand, and when she speaks, her voice is soft, almost musical, but tinged with sadness. Some say she only approaches children who are alone, offering them her silent companionship. And if they accept her gift, which is a small toy left on their windowsill or at the foot of their bed, they swear that it moves slightly each night, as though arranging itself into a story of its own. But Elara's presence is not always comforting. There are those who met her gaze for too long, and claim to have been followed by her dolls. Tiny porcelain figurines that have been found in closets, sitting on shelves, or staring at from corners of rooms, even far away in homes that were awfully far from the Warren residence. No one knows if she intends to harm, or if she's just merely curious. She's guiding children through the lonely nights as she once guided her dolls. Hollowbrook over the years came to regard her as both a blessing and a warning. A blessing because she provides comfort to the lonely, to the quiet children who feel unseen. A warning because the line between innocence and obsession is very thin, and those who linger too long near Elara might find themselves entangled in her little world of dolls, unable to distinguish reality from the stories that she weaves. There are nights when the wind carries faint laughter down alleys, faint clinks and clicks like porcelain brushing up against wood. They say if you follow it, you might catch a glimpse of her pale figure, small and graceful, bending over a collection of dolls in an alleyway bathed in moonlight. And then, as quickly as she appears, she vanishes, leaving only the soft scent of wax and the echo of a lullaby you'll never hear again. Some elders of Hollowbrook claim that the fire that destroyed the workshop did not take her at all, but it transformed her into something in the in-between. A spirit tethered to her creations. Her dolls, the extensions of her curiosity and imagination, are alive in ways that no one can explain. She exists in liminal space, walking the border between the living and the intimate, the mundane and the magical. So if you ever wander Hollowbrook at night and see a small pale figure with gray eyes staring from a window or a door, remember this. Elara Warren is watching, she is listening, and her dolls are waiting. But whether she brings you comfort or a creeping sense of unease depends entirely on the choices that you make in her presence. Elara Warren was the dollmaker's daughter, a child who never truly grew old, a garden of stories and secrets, a reminder that some creations outlive their creators, and that in Hollowbrook, the line between life and the stories we leave behind is thinner than you might think.